I am flesh and I am bone, rise up, ting ting like glitter and gold. I got fire in my soul, rise up, ting ting like glitter. Like glitter and gold. Like glitter. Do you walk in the valley of kings? Do you walk in the shadow of men who sold their lives to a dream? Do you ponder the manner of things? In the dark, the dark, the dark, the dark. I am flesh and I am bone, all rise ting ting like glitter and gold. I got fire in my soul, rise up ting ting like glitter. Yeah, like glitter and gold. Yeah, like glitter. Do you walk in the meadow of spring? Do you talk to the animals? Do you hold their lives from a string? Do you ponder the manner of things? In the dark, the dark, the dark, the dark. I am flesh and I am bone, all rise ting ting like glitter and gold. I got fire in my soul, rise up ting ting like glitter. I am flesh and I am bone, all rise ting ting like glitter and gold. I got fire in my soul, rise up ting ting like glitter. 'Cause everybody in the back room spinning out, you don't remember what you're asking for. And everybody in the front room's tripping out, you left your bottle at the door. 'Cause everybody in the back room's spinning out, you don't remember what you're asking for. And everybody in the front room's tripping out, you left your bottle at the door. I am flesh and I am bone, all rise ting ting like glitter and gold. I got fire in my soul, rise up ting ting like glitter. Yeah, like glitter and gold. Yeah, like glitter. Yeah, like glitter and gold. Yeah, like glitter. Lonely shadows following me, lonely ghosts come a calling, lonely voices talking to me. Now I'm gone, now I'm gone, now I'm gone. And my mother told me, son, let it be. Sold my soul to the calling, sold my soul to a sweet melody. Now I'm gone, now I'm gone, now I'm gone. I'll give you that fire. I'll give you that fire. I'll give you that fire. A thousand faces staring at me, thousand times I've fallen, thousand voices dead at my feet. Now I'm gone, now I'm gone, now I'm gone. And my mother told me, son, let it be. Sold my soul to the calling, sold my soul to a sweet melody. Now I'm gone, now I'm gone, now I'm gone. I'll give you that fire. I'll give you that fire. I'll give you that fire.
Sup, Journal? All good on your end? Come Journal. I'll drink beer. Yum yum. It's okay. It's past 9, I guess. Hey man, how you doing? All day ArmA day. Then you added quite a bit of stuff. Let's see. Make sure I fetch and pull and do all the nice things. Nice. Oh yeah. 19 pulls. Alright. What's your fish rod? Nice. What's your mental state? What's your brain melting percentage? Having that citrus IPA again, just great. So refreshing. Yeah, I need to do the little thing before I dive into crafting. Yeah, makes sense, makes sense. Adding resources and assets. Sometimes you just gotta do a lot of small stuff first. Very stable. Well, yeah, let me be the judge of that. I'm not sure if, you know, after a whole day of ArmA stuff, if you're then the right one to judge. My experience, my personal experience, I think I'm fine. And then I see the results of my work the next day. And then you know, shit, I was not fine. Let's crunch. Not sure what I should do tonight. I'm a bit in the mood to add the other sides. Just as a fun exercise. Uh-oh, we have a model error. Or do we? Were you able to crunch it? Refiners changed. The hell. Yeah, let me just double check if I did everything right. Bump. Ah, damn. It's the music. Damn. This Barnes Courtney is kinda good. Totally dig that. I should probably not leave that on the stream for too long, because that's pretty surely copyright infraction material. What was the other band you sent to me? That I'm telling you, if you think your mental state is fine, Let the project be the judge of that. Let me see what it actually spits out. Yeah, there's an error. You output. What's the error? Missing files. It's again a RVMat file that is missing. Here. I get the reference for a alpha. Yeah, it seems to be the same cause. It's looking for RVMat. MISC G pipes alpha faces. Let me push that into the dev stream. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I noticed you. I just noticed now that you. Nice. I just saw your message now that you were done with the updates. Alpha dev ASMR. What's ASMR? Bom. Okay. Need to have a P drive. Do I need to change something or? I'm assuming that I cannot fix it from my end, so I will not try it. I will actually go and grab the run the maker tool. Okay. Okay, got it. I'm quickly on dev voice in case you want to join there for better communication. Run this micro tool. ArmA 2P. Okay, now I get it. ArmA 2. I have ArmA 3P. No rec keys are found. And good music. And the drive, P. So I just entered P, full extraction including layers, dubbing and mission. Yes, I guess, right? No need, so I can just tell no, okay. Post it. Yo, Yuki. How are things? Where's my chips bag? I always have to hide my chips bag, because if I leave it on my desk overnight and my kid sees it in the morning, there's chaos. Because there's no reasonable reason why he should not have these chips as well. Ah, guys, chips and beer on a Monday evening with ArmA. I'm living the life, right? So let me. I actually decided that I will add the other sides. Bug fixes again for you guys. That's the whole deal. Like 90% of the deal, right? Bug fixing. Like just notice, like in that time now, actually for a very long time, when I was testing or doing stuff on Generous Redux with VA, I've never seen any noticeable or major map bugs, placement bugs anymore. And I'm pretty sure I did not pay less attention to it, so it's to be a good sign, I guess. What is the... Maybe I can check the site. You probably also have Trello. But what's like the general next bigger milestone that will come in Generous Redux? Like anything big that's on the horizon, or anything that you guys are mainly focused on? Just reading your comments, Jana, on Eisten Gaming's with regarding to the promising survival games. Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Even that matter, I just don't get excited about that stuff anymore. I watch it, I will follow it, and I will then believe it once it's in a stable version 1 release. Trash cans. So little things, right? Eisten, are you in the stream? We still have a long way to... Oh well, fair enough, it's a big project. I mean, there's a lot of details to iron out. We spoke about our spoke yesterday or today, I think, in dev chat. We discussed that we have so many like small things to do on VA. And I can imagine the amount of like small details and small tasks you'd have with such a map project are like exponentially bigger. So I can fully imagine. You won't believe the amount of bug fixes. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a... Yeah, I wouldn't know. I just assume it's a shit ton. Hey man, how you doing? Just... Yeah, okay, so got in right in time. With regards to a question to enlisted campaigns and or enlisted and that matter, I think especially enlisted is categorized as an MMO. So that matter probably as well, yeah. So Yuki, you missed it yesterday, but it was an awesome discussion about puppies, Dalmatian puppies. So if you have a good knowledge about Dalmatian puppies, here's the place to go wild with all your knowledge and theories and so on. I mean, yeah, that matter is definitely interesting, but for those of us that have been following survival sandbox games since probably the end of or the start of standalone DayZ, that's just, you learn to not get excited about anything that is not fully released. It's just not worth it. Although I must admit, I've had my best times in DayZ in early access version 0.5 to 0.7 maybe. So many hours went in there, I had shit ton of fun, but then the game just didn't get better for me. Or they have a human child and a wild animal. Yeah, I think I can relate as well. Maybe I'm a bit weird. Maybe that's my brain trying to get me away from the madness of ArmA modding. So I spend more time with other human beings. Or not human beings, beings. Get some fresh air and stuff. But yeah, we'll see. So we're currently doing something to the mod to... I don't even know, dude, what we're doing here, but I'm assuming that we're just pulling all the files from the local drive. And while we do that, and while we chit chat, I have decided that I will add more side spawners. Makes madness from ArmA fade, yeah, madness from giant. That's the real mad stuff, right? Yeah, I mean, it's true, if you take care of a kid all day, kicking back in the evening, just with some time that you can... Baking, baking would be something. Baking was a trend in the whole coronavirus time, I think. Oh, bake. Sorry, I'm tired. I thought you meant real baking. Having said that, let's see what side spawner we should add. I recently figured that, so I have this Shipwreck spawner. And I mean, if you think about it, a shipwreck will be washed ashore at some point and then will just usually stay there, especially bigger ones. And what I thought what I could do with the shipwreck spawner is I either create a separate version or just a version that is more like shipwreckage debris, like chunks of debris that are washed ashore and after some time they're gone again. So you'd have something that would constantly provide survivors with new items. Something especially like for smaller island maps, that would be cool. So you have a continuous possibility to get new stuff. That maybe that's something we'll do now. At last, mom versus kid, 0 to 1. Nice. That risk is 1 to 0. Oh wow, okay. Is there a scoreboard somewhere? You should put up a scoreboard. Big letters. Ooh. Is your kid well again, or is she still sick? Right. So we have the trader camp, but that we will not take because we'll just restart that from scratch. What are we missing? Heli sites. So the most impactful site spawners would be heli sites or Shipwreck. Oh cool, okay, good to know. I'm the special forces and going to sleep in our family. Yeah, same here. Try pulling fix. Wait, is it? So it's not. Oh, it's not done yet, though, right? This is still going on, so try pulling fix, then crunch. Just to make sure. So while this is still ongoing, I should pull and crunch. Let me know if I should do that while this is ongoing. So we have the heli sites that would spawn working helicopters somewhere. We could do the shipwreck spawn that would spawn lootable sites on the shores, which might be more interesting because it adds a new facet to the loot system. Then generally with the sites, I think generally I want more sites, and then each site will spawn less. So in addition, you will have like broken down vehicle columns, you'll have cargo drops, you'll have cargo plane crashes, you'll have buried treasure. Oh, okay. Can I pull it from Atom or should I go to GitHub? Oh, okay. You guys know what's the best thing about streaming so far? I got a shit ton of cool new music. Okay. Let's delete the temp files. Whoa. Can you actually hear the music? When I listen to the streams afterwards, I usually think that the music is too low. Boom, boom. To get back to the question with regarding to Generous Redukes next milestone, it's so as I understand at the moment it's really just doing a lot of bug fixing. Do you work down a list that you have, like found bugs, or are you also searching? Okay. Because the sites, so going back to VA now, the site spawners will help a lot to make the world alive. And then with the new AI spawn system, we'll have we can also randomize what type of AI spawns at the site. It could be none. There could be stalkers in this proximity. There could be patrols in the closer area, or there could be guards at the. Am I blind now? Where's the road map? Huh? I'll have to check. I don't see it. Maybe I'm tired. Anyway. How did the crunch go? Failed with error code 31. Still an error. That's missing RV mat. Pipe 3D. Posting it in the dev chat. Why should it be any better for you than it is for me? This is my life, man. Why so for you should suffer as well. I posted it into the dev talk channel. Right. No rush though. I can do my stuff now also with should I start? Do we want helis in or do we want, so these are like heli sites where you can find a heli and get a heli. And the other thing would be debris or shipwrecks that are washed ashore, and then you can loot it if you're lucky. Let's do heli sites first, because I believe that could be a quick thing or a quicker thing. And I know usually when I say that things go south very quickly. We're on the same page here, that's why you're getting errors. I'm using an old version, or what's the issue here? Okay, let me... Not sure if that's... I have no message that it's finished. I don't think it has finished. The hell? Shit. Okay. Nothing's happening here. I'm not sure if that actually means it's finished. We usually get a message in the end. Do you have the texture and blend? Let's find out.
Эх ты, сукин сын, камаринский мужик, загарил штаны, по улице бежит. Он бежит, бежит, покрёхтывает, свои штаники подёргивает. Снова пьяненький камаринский мужик у трактира
Yeah, I seem to have that one.
сереб я собрал подёвкою, опоясанный верёвкою. Картузишка нахлобучив,
That one is here.
тень у трактира гадёночка козлиная, не короткая, не длинная. Ждёт в трактире в топы водочки поднёс, получает лишь одни щелчки под нос. Ой же вы, комарики, реки, деревушка небольшая у реки. Мужики там безлошадные, но до водки дюжи жадные. Эх, лопаточки мои, что вы ходите, как будто не туды. Вы ж меня совсем не держите, упаду, так не подержите.
All right. The cool thing is, this is now the third side I'm re-adding, so most of the stuff has already been done for the other side, so I can just copy. Call it Heli side, Heli spawn. Liking a good name here. Updating the tags. Everything is named nicely. Good. It's actually renamed. We will only spawn helis with that. They Alright, thanks. Bullying. Real life work Event start. My Scrum Master is an idiot. My real life work event start, huh? Oh, event, okay. Yeah, man, okay. It's okay. Let it all out. Usually helps. And that's usually the thing, right? Peers are not always better qualified. So weird how these people get into these positions. It's usually funny how that management ladder works out, especially like in corporate, like that stuff you see people in positions. Damn, it works now. So whatever you did, well done. Problem solved, it seems. Does he also have? It's like is he like a line manager that does mainly portfolio, or is he like a driving for a boss that's 15 years younger than you? Yeah, that might be awful. Imagine 15 years. Like how much experience difference that is, and life lessons learned or not learned. Right. Might have to exchange quite a bit here. So this is the position finder for the site spawner. It's a loop, and it will loop as long as it finds until it finds a suitable position to spawn a heli spawn, and then it executes the heli spawn script, which tries to spawn the heli. Does a last check if the position where it's trying to spawn the helis is all okay. If not, it resets. If it's okay, then it will just proceed to spawning. Yeah, we're good. Crunch finished successfully. All good. Your second fix did it. Now you can relax. Yeah, the site spawner, the framework is okay, and I think the placement is something we can work on to see like what parameters we want to further introduce, and how can it be optimized. Yeah. And that's okay. That's just stuff we can add and adjust, but the code stands, and we can just rather easily amend it now and add further conditions for the spawning. So for the others, what it basically does, the set spawner is looking at the map and tries to find suitable position for a specific site to be spawned, and depending on what kind of site you spawn, you look at different criterias. For example, distance to other sites, distance to players, so it shouldn't spawn in front of a player, it shouldn't spawn next to another site of the same kind, and so on. And now we have the basic system for that, and we can just further tune it. And yeah, other sites around and players. Players is already the case, so it won't spawn near players. And other sites, I'm continuously adding that now. For example, Hellies and bandit camps, they're no longer spawning on each other, or shouldn't. Yeah, same for player respawn. But player respawn, that's a different topic. Then we'll be using the information we create within the site spawners, but it will be a different topic, and it will be a quick fix actually. We just need to check the new spawn position of the player against an array of combined markers. It may spawn one-sided, but that depends on the general spread. You can control that. But if the general spread is not wide enough, then there is no need for the script to search further. And the position finder, the ArmA hardcode or the ArmA engine command for the position finder is starting at probably 000 and work its way up. So if it always finds a position, because it doesn't need to take too much of a spread to other sites, then only one part of the map may be populated. So I changed the settings, but the problem with the bandit camps, for example, is that the settings are a bit messed up. See sites on one side of the map and it's like 6%. Yeah, they could be the spread. With the spread you can sort of hard control it, but if you do not do that, then it's just randomness. And probably the way how the position finder works, because it's I don't think it's fully random. Just the hard-coded Bohemia interactive position finder, the Bisfink find safe position, I think it's systematically working its way through the map. So I think this is why you have this behavior. And if it's random, it's random. I mean, then you need to force it with a spread. We can play around with it and see if it works or doesn't. The settings must always sort of fit the map, because if the spread is low enough, then you won't have a good result. Or if the spread is too low, you won't have good results on a big map. This is so funny.
Ich hab 3 Jungs da draußen. Die sind drauf und dran, dich alle zu machen.
Let's listen to some of the Ärzte. That's also fun music.
Jetzt ist es wieder mal soweit, es war auf allerhöchste Zeit und wir sind wieder mal genial. Tut uns furchtbar leid, wie immer schlauer als der Rest, also bitte keinen Neid. Halt die beste Band der Welt bei aller Bescheidenheit. Haben wir euch gefehlt, habt ihr uns vermisst? Ist euch jetzt klar, dass mit uns die Welt schöner ist? Seid ihr wieder froh? Na, was für ein Glück, wir sagen Hallo, denn wir sind zurück, wir sind da. Wir sind wieder da. Wir lungern nur und schulen rum, verkaufen kleinen Kindern Crack. Wir singen und züchtigen die
die anderen finden stark, genau wie jedes Jahr. Wir sind wieder da.
Wer sind diese Kerle? Ist das nicht eine Punkband?
Na und? Ich werde mit den Knaben schon fertig.
Du hast mich so oft angespuckt, geschlagen und getreten. Das war nicht sehr nett von dir. Ich hatte nie darum
Gebeten.
Freunde haben applaudiert.
What's the band like from your youth, like from your teens? Like that kicks you back, that brings you back. This is one word, good time. Yeah, good job. Zurück. Right. Going to use the new position finder script template and just make sure the conditions from the conditions are right. So we need a flat area, but it is rather large, so at least 30 meters in diameter. Yeah, diameter. Prodigy, nice. They were not that big for me, but kinda cool still. Then you do. Okay. We don't want any close by sides, that's fine as well. So see here we're cross-checking for other sides. Then we just hardcode 500 meters away from other sides. HS. Where did we define? Shit, where did we define those markers? Great. Somewhere these are defined and I have no idea where. Good that we can search the whole project. Server init, okay. Why is this shit here? Okay. 3 hidden terrain objects. Yeah, stuff like that, exactly. The hell? So we check against close heli crashs, we check against close bandit camps, and we check against close other heli spawn sites. Alles super. Right. In water. Oh yeah, I actually had a cool new method added to bandit camp. So the problem with the is something in water check is it will only check the central location of the site. If the central location of the site is on a very small island, or not an island, and like a piece of land surrounded by like water, it will think that the site has spawned on land, but actually most of the surrounding site objects will be in water. So what I added to the Bandicam spawner is that it will check if any of the spawned objects is standing in water, and if so it will reset. So this way Bandicams should no longer spawn in coastal areas. Like in the water actually, not in coastal areas. Here. And then it would reset. Because that annoyed me a bit. I think the app was fine, that takes it on. Yeah, no it doesn't, but it gives you like two good tools to do that. So one is, do we have it here? One is the find safe position, where you can enter some criterias, and the other one is flat empty. So these combined are already quite good. And then you can, what I'm doing here for example is I'm checking if there's any near road, I'm checking if the surface is water, so is it in water, I'm checking if there's players nearby, I could further check if there's near entities of some sort, I can further filter that, for example. Somewhere I do that. If there's any trees, bushes, rocks or houses nearby. Isn't checking every object if it's in water before the BC spawn? Isn't checking every object? No, I don't think I haven't noticed it. The thing is, there's no really another way, because you need to... else you would have to test further areas with a more complex code. So I think it's still the best. I didn't notice any issues, but it's certainly more code. But I think it's a quite light one, because the item is already there. It just checks if it's in water, and once it finds one object that it's in water, it will find a new position. You cannot do that in advance, because you cannot really find a position and then check if you cannot really check it in a performance friendlier way. I think checking before the stuff is placed would actually require code that is more intense than just checking if the currently already spawned object is in water. And then if it's not in water, then nothing else happens, right? Trees, rock, yeah, that's just an example. Not in all cases it's needed, but for example, bigger rocks should probably not be hidden. So maybe a house can be hidden, tree bushes can be hidden, small trees can be hidden, but usually rocks, like because one of the elements, rock or rocks, they also contain like the massive rock formations, and you don't want to hide them. They're usually they break the immersion of the map. And houses, well, you could hide them, but sure, if you always want that, it usually looks crap if the house is hidden. So it's probably best to make sure that there's no object of that type in very close proximity. Yeah. And then it also depends on the type of site. Bandit camps we should probably... Bandit camps it makes more sense to hide stuff because at some point the criteria of the position finding is too tight and it will just no longer find any position. So there it makes sense if you allow it to spawn in dense woods and you just hide the woods around it, the trees and smaller rocks and bushes. It depends a bit on the map as well. Whereas for like smaller formations or sites like hideouts or so, or crash sites, it doesn't really matter because it will easier, it needs less space, so it can find a fitting spot easier. Just thinking if we should consider if there's any road nearby. Yeah, but the position finder will not. The position finder will not. You just need to tell the position finder that it's okay to find places where there may be trees. So he will find the position, it will find the position, and then you hide it. You cannot hide it before. You just do not restrict the position finder to have any. You basically tell the position finder, look, you need a flat area of maybe 15 square meters. And as long as you find that and it's not in water, and it's flat and empty, there's no object within these 15 meters, it's okay. Your camp, however, needs 40 square meters, so the rest you compensate with by just removing trees. So it's a mixture of different different methods to find a good place. Yeah, same thing. In the end, it's the same thing. You want to make a compromise between how restrictive the position finding criteria is. Then, you know, especially the maps like Tanoa are tough there. So the bandit camp finder in the very beginning did barely find any good positions on Tanoa because it was just too restrictive. Just thinking if I want to check for near roads. The thing is, it's an apocalypse, right? So should the logic be that like crash sites are hidden away, or not crash sites, but heli spawn sites? Should it matter if they're on the road or not, because it's considered that the roads are, you know, abandoned anyway, not spawning on road? Just thinking, like, in an apocalyptic world, who cares? I mean, there's not enough people to really care about if I place my camp or my site in the middle of the road. I mean, these you say. So you say we should consider roads. Okay, let's leave it in there. Number of roads. For camps, heli it doesn't matter. Yeah, for a camp then would be something that happened after the apocalypse, right? And people then want to make sure their camp is hidden and don't want to risk to have them near a road. While the heli side, it doesn't really matter because it was still like probably the government forces that were setting up sites, control points and so on. So there it doesn't make sense that the heli site must be far off in the nowhere. But I think it also, on the other hand, it looks better if the sites do not spawn on the road. Let me add it here. Did it.
Ich hab noch lange nicht genug.
Number of roads. Count if there's any roads nearby.
Das ist ein ganz böser, böser, böser Bengel.
And now we do lazy evaluation magic. If there's no road nearby, if it's more than one, it didn't find any road segment, then it can spawn the site. What we do now is, this is basically my condition, and if all of these conditions are returned true, then the site can spawn in this location that it was finding. And what we want to do here is we want to avoid any unnecessary code to be checked. So the moment something is not okay, it should just interrupt the check, and it will go back and find a new position. And we do that with lazy evaluation. This is like, this curly brackets is indicating that this condition is only checked if the previous condition has returned true. So what we want is, by sorting that stuff in two ways, you can make this condition check easier. So the heavy checks should come in the end. The easier checks should come at the beginning. Also, the most likely things to fail the check should be in the beginning. Because if it's anyway likely that it's like a big water area, then you could have the water check first. The first element of the condition check should not have curly brackets, because that's the condition we want to have checked in any case. We have that first. On most maps there's a lot of water, or in many maps, and it might often hit water. We can argue if this in-water check is needed, because it should actually be considered in the BizFing find safe position. I need to check that. Maybe this in-water check is doppelt gemoppelt. Maybe not. And add heli crash GBU bomb explosion. Oh yeah, okay. That's a good idea, to add crash sites or to destroy any surroundings of the crash site. That makes sense. And then set damage to it. Okay, we can try that afterward. This is the BizFing find safe position. This is like my primary position finding command I use, and the syntax is basically, what is the center, what's the minimum distance from the center your position that should be found on map can be, what's the max distance, how big is the object and how much space does it need, is it in water, on the shore, or not in water. And actually, because we have that, So the basic position finder already searches for non-water positions. We can actually ignore that one here. So we already saved some code. If there's any close site, we do not care either, because we don't want to know anything else if there's a close site. Hoppala. Now the best thing would actually be good, because obviously you can see this is just checking for stored, returned information from checks, right? Ideally, we would pack all these lines of code, because these are those that will use performance, right? Even if in small bits. These pieces of code we should actually pack into these brackets, so the actual code to get the information is only executed if it's needed. But that would be really unreadable, so for now we leave it like that. But potentially if there's a close by site, then maybe all of this checks here is not required, so it's not fully optimized. As for shipwreck sites, you remember them spawning in a pond of water objects in the middle of the map? Yeah, I remember. We need to find a good solution for that, because currently the only way to avoid that is if you spawn if you place a blacklist marker. But I think we can do better than that, because we got a lot smarter since the last time, and we want to automate stuff. I think the whole extraction thing is not proceeding. It was like this before. So not sure if it's broken or... Yeah man, it's all about code optimization. And I think it's actually fun to optimize code. So it's bothering me a bit here that I know exactly, like, these chunks might not be needed. Am I muted? Yeah, I was munching chips, so maybe it was because of that. Let me quickly double check. Blah 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 blah. Test. Has it been like this all the time or just one-off? If it's a one-off thing, then maybe just because I manually turned off the mic. But I finished my bag of chips, so the good news is that is over now. And the best news is I actually still have some cake. This is a real birthday month, so a lot of people have birthdays and everybody makes cakes, so we end up with a lot of cake. Do you guys want to know how to win in life? If you have a cake, how's it called? Abonnement? A cake abonnement from your mother-in-law. That's like the best thing. I basically get cake every few weeks. I did something right there, didn't I? Mighty proud of it. Great, now I'm on cake. Shit. Subscription, yeah, cake subscription, thank you. Right, damn, yeah, I need my cake now. Be right back. I know, man. Sorry. This I really got into having a second dinners since a while now, because we usually eat at 6 with the kids, and then around 10, 11 I just get hungry again. Food.
Ich bin beides in moderner Form. Ich jage und sammle ständig, die Erfolgsquote ist enorm. Ich tu keinem Tier weh.
So here, for example, we check first if there's any site nearby. Like, and this is requiring actually a lot of code, right? And I think this code we could actually optimize by combining all these markers into one array here, and then just stopping because this is currently going through all the markers, and for every marker it checks if this condition is true. There is another command which is find if, and this command will also go through an array. It will check for every element if this condition is true, but this command, the find if command, like this, it will stop at that point. So I think I actually need to exchange that. I've already found one element that tells me, okay, this condition is met, which in this case means that one side is too near. Then there's no need for me to check all the other sides as well. Oh, Eisen is getting food as well now. I'm just wondering, why did I not change that? Ah, see, okay. I did change it, but for the AI spawner, so in these side spawners I can optimize that. So in this case, with the find if option, this condition check is only, let's say we have like 50 players. This condition check with the wrong method, this code here would be executed 50 times. But actually it's only needed until it has been established that there is one player that meets the requirement, and it meets the condition. So hence the find if method is better, because the find if will stop the checks. What the hell? Okay, never mind that. The find if will stop the iteration of that code at the first time where it returns true. But that's kind of cool. And I understood that when I was redoing the AI spawner, and it's actually the same concept for the position check. So there we go with optimization. And when we go into checking, I mean this method here where we check across against all other sites, this will be like up to 100 elements quickly.
Gestern Nacht ist meine Freundin explodiert. Ich hatte nicht damit gerechnet, darum bin ich blutverschmiert. Wer konnte ahnen, dass sie so reagiert? Gestern Nacht ist meine Freundin explodiert. Täglich liest man in der Zeitung von spontanen Explosionen. Man blättert und im Stillen.
And what you do here, find if returns the index position of the element that has returned true. Count will return count will return the amount of elements from that array where this condition has returned true. So if there's 20 elements in this array and for 5 this condition is met, then this will return 5. Here we find if no element of this array returns true, then this will return -1. -1 means by default for this command that nothing has been found, no element meets the requirement. If it returns if it returns one number, it will be the number of the index position of the element in that array that returned true. We'll use that. Basically the BC spread will tell the site how much, according to your settings, how much distance must be between each side of the same type. Now, and that's an open thing, that's not fixed, but basically it's not necessarily needed that you need the same spread for other sites, because maybe you can have a crash site 500 meters near a bandit camp, right? Or maybe 800 meters or whatever. So it should be a different distancer. If 500 is the right one, I don't know, or if we need a adjustable a setting for it where people can adjust it. That's the other question. Or I don't know. I don't know yet. It should for certainly not be too big, because else you won't find any locations. So hence I put it into 500. 500 will be a reasonable distance from any other site, but it's not completely removing any chance to find a position still. I did something stupid. I started to change stuff in the bandit camp spawner, and I actually don't want that because we're not in the bandit camp spawner now. We're in this side spawner.
Scheinbar hatte sie Spaß. Also habe ich schnell
maybe it will also be custom for each site. Maybe some sites can be closer to others, so we have a specific hard-coded value there. Some sites we really don't want them close by and so on. Take sugar. Sugar helps. So now all we need to know is for any of these. So basically, these variables will hold anything that is returned, right, by this line of code. This line of code will return -1 if no element meets the requirement, which means basically no element, there's no nearby site, and that's what we want, right? So if all of these return -1, then the condition is partially met that we can spawn something here. I wonder how these hard-coded values go hand in hand with the emission make ones. Yeah, it's probably best to have them at a certain percentage. Yeah, probably in the end we'll just add a general setting for that. Because if it's a small map or it's a big map, they will scale completely different. So it could either be a percentage of the current main site that we're looking at, a percentage of that spread, or it's just a generally generally adjustable distance for like sites to other sites of a different type. What would also be possible is to have per site a spreader, like a setting to adjust the spread from other type settings. So it's not hard coded, but you can adjust it for every site. So you always know, you can set that a hideout, for example, always needs to be at least maybe 1000 meters away from other hideouts, but only like 300 meters away from any other type of site. That could be, I think that will probably be the best solution. And it's not a big thing to do that, it's just another setting, so maybe we'll do that. Sounds reasonable. I think the hard-coded one will not prevail in most situations, so it's probably not a good solution. Now, so all of these, if one of these returns a number bigger than 0, bigger or equal to 0, that means that the whole position finder needs to reset. Thinking of how I could check that easiest. Yeah, I think there are probably 2 values per site, spread from same type, spread from other sites. I think that's probably the go-to solution. I think that makes more sense, most sense. Let's try this. If so we could say if is not equal to -1, or the close bandit, if there's a close bandit side, then exit. If there's a close helicrash side, then exit. If there's a close heli spawn side, then exit. Here again, we want the heli sides first. No. The heli sides will. No, doesn't matter. And we just add the lazy evaluation, where it only checks as many conditions as really needed. So define the close sides local variable for the whole scope that's following. So anything also code that is nested within the code, so that this local variable can be accessed there. Just as a side note, because in here, if then here we open a new scope of code, and it needs to know the close sides in here. Yeah, I think that would work. It must work, I mean, because it's the same thing here. You will have to provide the basic values, the default values, and then it's up to the mission maker. And obviously, I mean, if the mission maker enters range or spreads or minimum maximum spreads that do not make sense, that might actually block sites from spawning. But yeah, tough luck. Right. So we already did a little bit of optimization here. Sites should have set free areas. Yeah. What I'm doing right now is I'm removing sets from sites. But might need a better solution. Currently it's just after the site is spawned, it will remove all the zombies, because they usually spawn quite quickly, especially if a player is close. So yes, that's on the radar and it's partially part of the code, but I don't think it can be optimized. So if anything's nearby, one of this condition here gets set to false. There's a ravage function, yeah. I actually don't know how to spawn it via script, I just know that it can be placed as a module, and it's not properly working, so I would actually not invest too much time into it, I would just try to write something by myself. It's the blacklist function, or the zombie, and it only works very limited, and I think not in a dynamic way. So it makes sense. No close sites is true unless it finds a site nearby, and then it's set to false, and then the condition check will fail. Fuck it, we slim it down now. Screw it. We will now integrate this. So it only checks for nearby roads and if the position is flat, which I assume are both a bit more complex codes. It will only check it if it's really needed. Close players is a bit too complex to put into this. Yeah, now we leave that here. Are they one-time spawned near sites and then you delete them, or are they keep on spawning? They keep spawning if a player walks into the area, because the ravage zombies are spawned around players. Currently there are only deleted one off. Well, enjoy. I already ate my pack of chips, so more than happy for you to have a go. Knock yourself out, mate. Yeah, come on. We're optimizing. Let's do it right. So here we could optimize a little bit. Actually, even the second check here wouldn't be needed if any of these, if this one returns true, all of this is no longer needed either. I think I could integrate this into conditions down here. Hey Saza, welcome. You're late today, man. What's up? How dare you? Oh. We're doing some code optimization at the moment. I'm thinking, no close that this is basically representing all of this. But what this does is it will go through all the code to get to this boolean, yes, no, or true, false. And maybe only the first part is needed. So what I could do is, it's not getting prettier like this. Something else. And everything lags. Shit. You don't want lag after a long day of work. Were you at the beach, the picture you posted, or was that like a local lake or river? Or do you live near the sea? I'll leave it for now, but I think you can. I'll change it once it works well. Yeah, that seems to be the case, right? I don't want to get it too messy, but if I even if I organize it a little differently, its credibility is also okay-ish. So be like this, and then I usually, do it like this so it's better readable. Nice, that's cool. Montenegro, right? Very cool. Yeah, we have a lot of lakes here and rivers, obviously, but the sea is still special. Like if you don't, at least for me, that's always was always a special moment when you drive up on the coast and suddenly you see the sea. Let's do a prototype of this here. Oh, it. Welt ist schlechter Hasen. We check this condition is not equal to -1. Okay.
Waffenkontrolle ist für Babys und Kommunisten. Hören Sie, damit eines ganz klar ist. Waffen bringen niemand um. Aber ich.
In den Tiefen mancher Seele tun sich Abgründe auf. Schlechte Menschen,
Oh, in the bay, okay. So maybe it's warmer in the bay, right? Or is that not the case? Because the water is heating up better. Right. Did it. Optimized. Sweet. OpenSea have no proper internet, I don't like it. Yeah, can agree with that. Right, we do it differently again. We have one condition that we cannot check inside, so it will in any case be checked. So this one we take first, so there's no code waste, and then we do only the code that we really need. Good. That's much better. And here, do we have here? No, that's okay. Satellite internet. Imagine yourself some sort of ultra fast 1 terabyte. I don't know, man. I mean, who does that? I hope not too many people. I mean, it cannot be better than a like a wire connection, right? But yeah, it sounds fancy. Obviously, the internet is just shoots out of the satellite into your mobile phone or laptop. I guess that's the thought process. Guys, I think we can be proud of this optimization here. See, this is why I keep doing overhauls. Every time you do stuff, it gets better. So good. Very good. actually remove the old code and we're good with the new one. I enjoy this because this is now a lot, in many cases now, a lot of this code is actually not even being executed. It's that's true. Not working if it's not executed. So this here is counting the attempts, and once it's above 20 attempts it will pause or it will interrupt or cancel the position finder for that iteration, because it's then assumed that there's no matching places. Also figure that we might add a setting to it so people can adjust it, because depending on the map it might just take more attempts to find a good spot. So we'll have to monitor. Okay, that seems all good. Me gusta. Yeah, I think that's good, and with that I think it's also a good idea to stop. I will actually. This is work in progress, this is not something that's active, that's just some line of codes that's there. Let's edit, and we don't need to, actually, crunch. Nothing happens here, so I'm not sure if I can close that. Let me know what you think, Jenna. And we crunch, just to see what happens. Bringt mir Übelkeit. It has something enjoyable if you... Some code optimization to me is really enjoyable. I kinda like that. I also, I love how with this current iteration we started to do like proper code structure, or at least proper as far as I can understand it, and I know how it's done, but that's obviously also a learning process. But we have like properly set up functions, which is cool. Which was absolute chaos before. Right, that's it then for tonight. Thank you guys for the for joining and for the lively entertainment. And next time we will probably finish or proceed with the side integration and see if it all works. Yep. Good night, guys. Sleep tight, and talk to you soon. Cheers.
Yeah. by the reason.